Hello and welcome to the video version of my journal. I'm Stephanie Rivers. I'm sure you've heard the old adage, the customer is always right. Company executives want frontline employees to embrace that now more than ever, that customers base their purchasing on a great deal on how much customer service they receive. But a recent survey reveals that flight attendants think some customers are not worth the trouble. In fact, they're more trouble than they're worth. Here are some of the top complaints that flight attendants have against passengers.
Passengers who complain about the cost of a round-trip coach ticket should read up on the cost of fuel. You can't drive from New York to LA on $200, and you certainly can't fly a plane there on $200.
It takes about 100 people paying $200 for a round-trip coach ticket to pay just for the cost of fuel. Never mind those overstuffed bags that passengers pack. Number 2, passengers who complain about not getting exit row seating. Well, believe it or not, the exit rows are designed not for people with longer legs. They're not designed for people who are overweight.
They are designed for a quick escape from the airplane in case of an emergency. That means you must be able to see and speak English clearly. You must have enough strength to open the emergency door, and you must be willing to assist other passengers during the escape.
People who are on crutches or people who come to the flight in a wheelchair are not allowed to sit there. It's an FAA rule. So if the flight attendant wants you to move out of that row, don't argue, just move.
Passengers who drag on oversized, overstuffed luggage and then expect flight attendants to do the heavy lifting. Flight attendants say, if you pack it, then you stack it. Don't expect someone else to catch your hernia.
Number 4, passengers who ignore the rule about placing smaller items under the seat. You are not allowed to hold anything in your lap during takeoff and landings except for lap children. And speaking of lap children, the number 5 complaint against passengers is those people who think just because they're on the airplane, they're off duty as parents. Stop expecting flight attendants to have spare diapers, spare formula, and spare toys. Take your children to the restroom and change dirty diapers before you get on the plane. Nobody wants to smell baby poop for 2 hours in a closed atmosphere. And if your child is an infant, know that the high altitude will hurt their little ears and make them scream the entire flight. So bring something for them to suck on, like a bottle or a piece of candy, because it helps them equalize their little ears.
Although small pets are allowed to fly with passengers, they must be kept at all times in their carrying cage at all times.
And that cage must be able to fit under the seat in front of you. Just recently, a passenger allowed her puppy out of the cage when the plane landed, and it pooped right there in the aisle. So, from flight attendants' mouths to your ears. Just like a child, your pet is your responsibility. Any accidents that happen on board with you, your child, or your pet are your responsibility to clean up, just like any other public place. So if it happens, flight attendants have the air freshener. You should be prepared with your pooper scooper. To find out more about complaints against passengers, go to the written version of my journal at eurweb.com. Thanks, and have a super day.